Okay, today I'm going to show you how to use parameters inside a function. So let's go ahead and create a function real quick. We're going to call it some function, and inside that function we're going to have, I don't know, let's say it's going to take a parameter that is of type int, and in fact this function will even return an int. Okay, great. So that's our function. I'm just going to go return 0 for now. I'll fix that later. So we have a function here, and we're taking a parameter called int, and we're giving it a label of some number. Now the problem is, in Swift, when you're actually passing in parameters to a function, this parameter, this int, whatever this is always immutable, right? So it cannot change. It can't be changed because it's a let. So as an example, if I go var sum equals some let's go some number equals some number plus 1, I should get an error here from Playground saying cannot assign to value some number is a let constant. Okay, so how do I fix this? Well, there's two ways to actually use the content, the value that is given in the parameter. The first is you could actually assign it to something else. So I could go some number, I could go var some number 2 equals some number. Okay, and now essentially whatever that was passed here will be transferred to some number 2, and here I could, you know, do whatever changes I would like to it, right? 1 plus 2 plus some number 2. So here I'm actually changing the data of some number because of the first thing I've done is I've taken some number, given its value to another variable, in this case some number 2, and then I play around with some number 2, and of course I could always return some number 2. So if I call this function here, and let's say some number is 4, well, it's going to give me 7. Why? Because 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 2 is 7. So, you know, I took the parameter and I used it. Another way of doing this is I'm going to go func, and this is you know, a more advanced way, but I think it's actually a more sophisticated and cleaner way of doing it. Some function 2, and I'm gonna call this another number int, and it's also gonna return an int. Okay, so I've built another function here. Now what you could do is you could put the keyword in out, and essentially what that does, it allows this particular function, this particular parameter to be mutable and can be used. So I'm just going to go return 0, and I'll change that in a sec so we get rid of that error. So check this out. Now if I do the same thing, I go another number equals you know, 1 plus 2 plus another number, I will not be getting the error. I will not be getting an error saying that this is a let constant. I could change it and I could return another number. The only thing that you have to worry about here is when you call up the function. So if I call up some function 2, you actually have to use the keyword, the ampersand character before you pass in a parameter. Now if I actually pass in a number parameter like 4, like we did before, this will now work. The 4 has to be in a variable. So watch, var my number equals 4. And if I change the 4, because 4 is a literal, if I go my number, this will work and I should get 7 again. Boom. So this method is a bit more sophisticated because I didn't actually have to copy the parameter into another variable to use it. And you might say, well, that's just an extra line. That's true, but if you have multiple parameters, then it gets messy. And this is just a bit more sophisticated, but these are two methods you could use to use the parameters within a function. Thank you for watching.